Stuff while I'm working on this astrodoodle. Hello Ivona, nice to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Let's have a look here. Oh, so happy. Taste Your Dreams. I'm going to put on a song called Taste Your Dreams because I like that. It's old, but it works. It's good. Let's have a look, see if this works.
Okay.
Oh, great. Thank you, Ivona.
If you wish for a simple miracle, if you wish you can have one right away, all you need is some faith, is the will. Ask for it and it will come to you today. Hey, hey, I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Yeah. Na da 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 da, na da 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 da. La da 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 da, da 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 da. And if you wish to be in a state of grace, ask for it and it will meet you face to face. Do 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 do. And if you wish, if you dare to dream, you will find that it's easier than it seems. Hey, hey, I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Yeah. Oh. Da 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 ba da 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 la da 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 la da 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 da. Oh, la da 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 da. So happy, yeah. I want you to be your higher self, yeah, yeah. I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Taste your dreams this way. Taste your dreams today.
Well, there we go. That's something. Good evening. Hello, Path. Good evening. Thank you very much for testing that thing for me. I'm still working on the astrodoodle here. Just please bear with me. I'd like to... Oh dear, let's see. Celebrate the wonders. No, I'm going to go through the ether. Here we are. We're still in Pisces vibes. We got the full moon right on our doorstep. So it's all very mystical.
Through the ether. Laying up and around in our mountains, in our seas and our forests, with all of our stones, exploring one another, pushing our boundaries like new lovers. And you comfort me through the ether, and you tell me, I can tell that you're worried about me, and you assure me through the ether that we're okay, everything is gonna be okay, that you're holding my hand all the way. Our innocence, it's becoming so apparent in our magnificence at the same time too. And with your permissions and our shared ambitions, we get the chance to discover our own truths. And you comfort me through the ether, and you tell me, I can tell that you're worried about me, and you assure me through the ether that we're okay, everything is gonna be okay, that you're holding my hand all the way, that you're holding my hand all the way, holding my hand all the way, holding my hand all the way.
Yay. Good evening. Thank you, folks, for being here. I'll get sorted out in just a second here. I want to just double check something, doing technical things. Let's have a look. Alright, so I'll be there right there with the astrodoodle in just a moment. And get over here. I'm trying to do all the techie stuff. Sorry. Please bear with me. It's a live stream. What do you expect? Gosh, we've been doing this, let's see, 6 years now. I thought it was 5, but it's actually 6 years. Can you believe that? We've been hanging out together for 6 years. It started on February 17th or 18th, 2017. So that makes it 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So that's 6 years and a few weeks. Amazing, huh? Alright, so Ivona very kindly did a test for me. I just want to see if this works. I've never done it before, but at the very, very top, if you scroll back through the chat, there is a link, and it takes you directly to the Tarot Lumination donate page, and you click on that, and it opens up the PayPal processor. So I'm assuming that that's what Tina just did. So that'll show up here, and that's wonderful. Thank you very much, Tina. I hope all is well. Honestly, I've been wanting to reach out and have a good chat with you just for the hell of it, because you've been through so much and it's just, I don't know how you're doing it, but I hope we discover a little bit while we're here, hanging out, sharing our lives the way we do. I'm hoping Gregory shows up too. I got a very interesting video from Gregory today, and I've got interesting emails from a bunch of you from different things, and I haven't really honestly been able to catch up. I'm trying to do very fundamental, really important three-dimensional stuff here where I live in order to keep things going and keep my own sanity. And that has really taken a very, it's taken a priority over everything else. And it means even putting the channel a bit to the side and doing videos and everything, because you guys know that I love to create my content and deliver it and put it out there and share it with everybody, but you also know the things that aren't working so well with me and the channel. I've given everybody a few hints. So anyway, we'll come back to the Astrodoodle in a minute. I just want to say hello. Greetings, good evening. It's very, very windy over here, and I was doing some a lot of outdoor projects, and I couldn't do them anymore. Stuff there I can't see because so much junk blows up in my eyes. I can't take it. So anyway, I'm good to go for now. I was hoping that Gregory would be here, but just to clear things up, you know, I've been moaning and groaning for a long time, especially since the very end of 2018, when things became very peculiar, and I know exactly what was happening back at that time. I received an email from Path Traveler. I didn't quite understand it, but it was about a massive Pisces stellium, and I'm very vulnerable to Pisces on the flip side energy, even though the Pisces thing can be very beautiful. There's, like every planet, it has let's just call it negative and positive expression. Anyway, Love Triber, Path Traveler, Gregory, and a couple of other folks, and myself, and some of my other personal favorite channels that I watch from here, which are nothing to do with tarot or astrology. It's all about the politics and the things that I really care about regarding the United States and some of the tragedies that are happening here. But anyway, Gregory sent a simple note indicating that there is yet another channel that is expressing openly that there's something very, very wrong. Oh no, God. Oh no. Tarot Destroyer. Oh man. What am I supposed to do? Okay, I'm just going to pretend I didn't see that on the chat, folks. So anyway, Gregory sent this link, and it showed a video about this really big YouTube channel. He's got 750,000 subscribers, 750,000 subscribers. It's Minnow Pond. He does tarot, every sign, every month, and all sorts of updates. And he seems to be very popular. And he just openly created a video that said, YouTube is killing my channel. And he's noticing it too. And it's very, very obvious. It's showing up in his financials and in the comments and in the way that his channel operates. So obviously that tracks all the way back to the algorithm. So I'm not the only one complaining and moaning. There's another big channel as well, and he is suffering the same thing. Okay? At least 3 other channels that I love are also dealing with the same thing. They're being crushed, squashed, partially demonetized or fully demonetized, and they're being issued with lots of warnings and strikes and deletions. Okay, so there we go. Anyway, so most of the people in my position, my situation, there's some channels that are doing extremely well, and they have found ways to moderate and do a lot of extreme self-censorship so that they can adapt and grow with the YouTube algorithm. And that's what I'm hoping to do. And the general path that I'm seeing people follow is very similar to myself. They are looking for alternative platforms to YouTube. And I've tried multiple over the last couple of years, and I'm now exploring Rumble. The thing about Rumble is it's still new, it's relatively small, and there's no money there. You can't. It's almost. You can't. Even the really big channels, they can hardly make any money there. So I'm not expecting anything. So I'm reduced to either basically canceling the channel and just demonetizing it, just doing it simply here for a hobby, and then reaching out for donations using this new click thing. I will try to show you an example here. Watch. All right, here, have a look. Paste. I'll do it again for fun. See if this works. Yes, okay, so you can see that. As far as I can tell, I just tested it, and I think it actually worked, where that's the link. Tina has already very kindly donated, and others are invited to do so as well. I can handle maybe 2 or 3 readings, something like that. And, well, here we go. Oh, God. Oh, man. How do we put the blocker on Tarot Destroyer? I forgot what to do. I'm going to click a few buttons and see if there's anything I can do. Okay, how do I make Path Traveler a moderator? Okay, here we go. Let's have a look. Add as managing moderator. There we go. How about that? Okay. Yeah, maybe. Oh, who's this? Hello, Paula Berlinski. I hope Tarot D doesn't erase your channel. She can do it. The reason she's called Tarot Destroyer is because Tarot channels that anger her simply disappear from YouTube. Maybe she works with Google. Maybe that is so. Maybe so. Who knows? Okay. Wow. We are witnessing evil live in motion. Actually, this person tried to attack this channel many times before, and we have found, oh my God, this is just sick. Thank you, Path. It looks like you are being very effective. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Right. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, this is very distracting. Oh, you're back. Feed your child. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Okay, so anyway, as you can see now, we're seeing the sewage side of YouTube, and a classic example of human sewage misbehaving and doing what they do. And we just have to deal with it for now. Give me a second. I'm going to go back over here. Thank you so much, Pat. I wonder who else I can make. It's probably going to be very distracting and exhausting for you, Pat. I'll see if anybody wants to be. There's hardly anybody here, folks. But anyway, thank you for listening. So there's another really big tarot reader. He's got about over 500,000 subscribers. He's dealing with the very same thing. Now, they all have different storylines about how and why they are being targeted and crushed and everything. and it's the algorithm, or you're politically unacceptable, or you are, let's say, I don't know, doing something that does not register with the YouTube community guidelines. I mean, I can't really hardly say anything anymore, except stuff that's very amorphous and kind of nebulous, like what's the point? Here we go. Alright, well, I'm going to shut down the chat. See if that works completely. Top chat, let's have a look. Nope, let's have a look here. I wonder if I can alter the... no, what can I do here? Okay. Okay. What are my options here? I don't have a lot of options. Okay, start a poll. Close. Nope. All right. I can't operate like this. I'm sorry. I'm finding it very difficult. I can't focus. It's like doesn't make sense here. Sorry, folks. Good night. Oh, all right. Path Traveler is saying to ignore it. I'll try to ignore it and see what happens. All right. So theoretically, I am ignoring things right now. Let's have a look. So, let me get back to the Astrodoodle. Anyway, I just wanted to get that out there. YouTube is changing, and it has been changing, and it will continue to change. According to Minnow Pond, what he can tell, he has a team of people. He's got a whole freaking team working for him, doing all the editing and the thumbnails and the posting and channel management and all that. It's very okay. Okay, so I'm going to go over and look at the Astrodoodle. We'll do that right now. Thank you. Now we're at a point where today is the 5th, and the Pisces Sun energy is at maximum power here. We're at the 15-degree mark. Okay, right over here. Sun in Pisces. Now on the global scale, we're looking at the universal chart, so this represents the 12th house of sickness, disease, lies, deception, betrayal, imprisonment, insanity, corruption. I would say at the most extreme end of it, I would call it pure evil. Okay? And I was predicting that months ago that when we get into this amplified Piscean energy here and all the planets are moving direct, we would start to notice that there's a massive, like sewage spill of all the disgusting people who do disgusting things. And it's coming out. It's all over the United States. It's oozing out in American politics, American finance. It's happening all across Earth right now. And sadly, we are, in most cases, we're witnessing the sad, tragic, like hollow side of the Pisces-Neptune energy. And very shortly, the Sun will conjoin with Neptune, and that will amplify this problem even more. So I'm looking at like the Pola and the Tarot as examples of, this shadow energy in full display, trying to do what they can. So, to take good people down. Now, here, this is the full moon that's coming up right now. As you can see, okay, Saturn is right here on the cusp between Aquarius and Pisces. So that's very, very wobbly energy. over here, Sun is in Pisces. So in a matter of hours, actually it's tomorrow, I believe, the Sun is going to be in Virgo over here. So we've got a major opposition right now with the Moon in Leo opposing, at the 29-degree mark, opposing Saturn in Aquarius. So that's a powerful, kind of nasty opposition right now. And then we have another nasty opposition, which is going to be this full moon. I'm saying it's nasty because most of what I am witnessing, I'm not forecasting or anything. I'm just an observer. I'm just witnessing a lot of really sad, tragic, disgusting stuff that's coming to the surface like a massive sewage spill, especially in American politics. And I'm actually very grateful for that, because now you can see it, you can reveal it, you can heal it. And the moon, Virgo moon, is all about like, well, what are we going to do? What active tasks? Imagine the Virgo nurse energy. What can we do to clean up this horrific mess? Okay? And that's what we're going to have to deal with. Now, I don't know if some of you noticed this, but Jupiter and Venus have been extremely tightly conjoined over the last few days. I was going to make a video and everything, but it didn't happen. But you could actually look up into the sky. If you had clear skies, you could see Jupiter and Venus incredibly close together in the heavens. And Venus was the very, very bright light, and Jupiter was the bright light just behind and very close to Venus. Very beautiful energy here. I have a friend who has a very powerful Pisces element and a powerful Aries element, and I was reading some amazing stories and adventures about the healthy combination about how this can work in positive expression. Hello, Necessary Truth. Give me a second. I got to turn off this heat thing here. Oh man. All right. Sorry about that. So these are just like the electromagnetic influences that we have at the moment. There's a very harsh energy between Mars and Gemini and the Pisces energy over here. That will fade out fairly quickly. So I'm not going to worry about that one too much in this little report here. The Uranus energy is incredibly powerful right now. The most obvious example, of course, has been all the earthquakes in Turkey and Syria, New Zealand, and all the cyclones and the extreme, massive cold weather events that seem to defy the current so-called narrative regarding climate issues. Anyway, there are places in America that are under 9 foot of snow. I will point to them right now. Here I am with my little map. Just over in this area here, in the Sierras, in California, there are people dealing with 9 foot of snow. I used to have to deal with that when I was a little kid, because I used to live up here for a while, and up here for a while, and up here for a while. I remember being in Boston many years ago and opening the front door of my apartment and seeing the snow roughly up to the level of my throat. It's quite a scary thing, but it's also beautiful, okay? So right now, for example, with the climate, we've got this massive cold thing. It's going all over here. Another thing about the Uranus, again, I'm going to do a combination here and here. With the Uranus in Taurus vibes, we are also dealing with a lot of issues regarding nature. I'm talking very broadly about the obvious things that go on in nature that remind us how transient and fragile this existence can be. So when the Uranus is at maximum power here in Taurus, we're again seeing all these amplifications with volcanoes, hurricanes, tornadoes, extreme drought, extreme flooding, extreme cold, extreme heat, and highly unpredictable events, circumstances, earthquakes, all those kinds of things. On the other hand, even though Uranus represents the energy of unpredictability, in other words, let's say, expect the unexpected, put it that way. So, it's been happening. It's been going on for 3 years. We've got another probably 2.5, 3 years to go with Uranus and Taurus. So it's not over yet. By the time Uranus gets into Gemini, Pluto will all be in Aquarius, and it's going to be a very different kind of frequency here on Earth. It's going to be very much more to do with telecommunications, technology, artificial intelligence, and let's say cerebral and intellectual themes. And the subject of climate and things like that will start to fade a little bit more, except in terms of perhaps conversations, because right now it's very active and very, very live. Also, of course, when you're looking at this combination here, it's very, let's say, ballistic. Mars in Gemini. Mars, of course, is the warrior sign. And when we look at this powerful trined energy here between the Pisces and the the Taurus and the Pisces. Now, when that's, let's say, misbehaving, and human beings get involved, especially human beings who are highly toxic, noxious, and determined to express and communicate and propagate evil, then you've got a perfect example here, and it shows up, the way I see it, is in revolutionary, let's say, what's the word? Revolutionary, or let's say highly disrupted, like agitators behavior that's happening across the world, especially Western Europe. Well, it's all over the world, but in the United States we've seen a lot of it, like with the railways exploding and terrible, shocking environmental pain and suffering. And especially the thing that concerns me by far the most is the rapid expansion of wind power in the oceans, everywhere they can get away with it legally. And guess what's happening? As they expand all these wind farms all over here, whales are dying. Whales are being washed up on the nearby shorelines in the hundreds and hundreds because they cannot function. Whales use sonar to transmit and communicate their whole lives. Everything is done by audio, by sonar. And that sonar is heavily distorted by the deep oscillations and vibrations that come from the massive wind turbines that shakes up the foundation of the turbine, which shakes up the water and creates really hideous, horrible, dangerous, deadly vibrations in the water. It's the same thing as when you are driving on a highway or a street or stuck at a stoplight somewhere in America, and some vehicle pulls up next to you and it's pounding out with its, blaster audio systems, and it's rumbling and it's shaking. It makes it impossible to think or hear or speak or listen. That's how bad it is. In fact, it's probably a lot worse. Imagine your worst earache that you've ever had. Imagine that, and you can't switch it off. That's what the whales are dealing with right now. It's the same with dolphins and seals and a lot of the air-breathing sea creatures that live very close to the coastlines, which is, of course, where all the wind turbines live. Hello, Maria. So, Exactly, Path Traveler. Thank you. Where are they? Where are those protesters? Anyway, there's a lot of fakery and shenanigans coming up all over the world right now. I'm not going to talk about it because I can't. My channel, the video will just be, wiped out, okay? It's very, very sad. It makes my blood boil. It's literally, and also, of course, all the illegal fishing that's going on all over here, all over here, all over here, and all over here. It's leaving a trail of destruction. Of course, they're catching a lot of fish. They're catching a lot of fish illegally, but they're destroying the fish populations. They're destroying the seabeds where a lot of the food originates from, like with the plankton and the microorganisms that are the very base of the food chain for all seafood, for all sea creatures and freshwater creatures. It's very, very tragic. It's very frightening. And it is a simple result of having 8 billion people on this planet. Some people are more of an offender than others, but any human being who eats food is essentially part of the problem. So it's a horrible, horrible thing to say, but we are all part of the problem. If you eat meats and seafoods, you're part of the problem. What can you do about it? I have friends and family over in England right now, and they are dealing with not just food inflation. There are sections of supermarkets where you can't get any fresh fruit and vegetables. It's just not there. And for whatever reason, you can say, oh, well, it's all the big farms in Netherlands. They're collapsing because they can't provide the diesel fuel and the fertilizer because it's very intensive farming. And so, that's just another example of Uranus and Taurus gone wrong. The shadow side of that energy. It's happening everywhere. I'm too scared to talk about politics. As you know, I would love to, because right now, with this cusp energy here, and this cusp energy here, the Aquarius vibes that are starting to build up, and it's going to be a 20-year journey. It's starting right now. We're getting a slight preview, glimpse. I can't talk about it here. So, sadly, that's just how it is, okay? Yeah. For my Aries friends, I was noticing in particular with a couple of them that they had some, I would say, beautiful, classic Jupiter-Venus escapades, experiences, where they were literally almost like dumbfounded by their life experience, whatever they were doing at that moment of time, where they felt that they were under some kind of divine blessing of opportunity and expansion and seeing and understanding the wisdom of nature, the wisdom of the world, and the love and the beauty of nature and how valuable it is at that moment in time. And that was happening, that experience, the way it was written specifically to me, I thought, well, you know what? You're talking about Jupiter conjoined Venus in Aries right now for you, the person, you. Okay? And all the tragic, scary stuff that they were writing about, that's happening to the world. And so what they decided to do was focus on their own world. In other words, mind your own business, live in the moment, live in the now. Forget about, have to deliberately forget about all the really scary, squalid, evil stuff that's going on around the world on a large scale right now with politics, finance, economics, and everything. World War III and all that. Okay, it's all happening. It's going to happen. But us folks here on this little channel, there's nothing we can do about it except mind our own business. Protect your money, protect your privacy, protect yourself. Protect yourselves, protect your loved ones. Focus on the now. Be as conscious and present as you can in the now. Let's put that over here. In a couple of weeks, we are going to have the Aries new moon over here, by the way. Venus will be long gone over here, and at some point, the sun is going to transit across Jupiter. So that's going to be kind of epic. It's going to be fun to look forward to. This is my note. I think Pat wrote in like, hey, what do you think about all this stuff for March? And I said I was going to make videos about it. I never did. Okay, but anyway, this is what I'm looking at for March. And the main things for me, of course, are the stationary moments here. Not the stationaries, but the 0 degree points on the cusps over here for Pluto and for Saturn. We're at the point right now. What today is the 5th. So in a couple, well, we're actually here. We're right now 20. We're at the point that we're at the critical degree. Okay, and so we're going to cross. Saturn is going to move into Pisces, and that's a whole other story. And I believe it's going to show up in my world, the way I study life and world and everything. It's going to show up very, very much in the world of American politics, especially how I'm going to do this. Let's say, I'm going to keep very light language about this, but what we're seeing right now in Washington is a massive sewage spill. That's how I see it. It's a massive sewage spill that is impossible to stop. And the sewage spill consists of all the lies, deceptions, betrayal, treachery, treason, crime that has been propagated by a certain group of people. A certain group of people at the highest level of the world, elites in politics and banking and finance, especially with health and healthcare, as you know, subjects I won't mention. But also economics, okay? There's just literally, I would say, a demonic agenda out there. They're pushing very, very hard, but they're also meeting resistance. And they're being called out. In Washington, D.C. right now, we have a certain part of Congress which has been empowered recently, and they are taking a very aggressive stance towards the sewage. So I'm looking at Mars in Gemini representing the fierce communications being directed by truth speakers, truth tellers, and people who demand the truth for we the people. And that is putting all the evil under a microscope. That's how I'm interpreting this right now, okay? Oh, double one, wow. Got to check that out. So, let's go over where did Tina go? Hello. Oh. Who's Victor Galligan? Hello, Victor. Welcome. Thank you for visiting us. I just wanted to check back through the chat. You live in New Jersey. Okay, I have a friend over in New Jersey. You've had whales on the Jersey Shore? Oh, that's right. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Man, that is really... Oh, man, that makes me so angry. So angry. I mean, it's almost like we're at this tipping point in humanity right now where I just see it in very simplistic terms. Rats in a cage. We've got 8 billion human beings living on a planet that obviously is, let's say, showing all the signs of what happens when you have rats in a cage. Basically, you're pooping in your own nest. That's what it comes down to. We are harvesting food within a perimeter. We don't live in a state anymore where, many generations ago, perhaps 500, 1,000 years ago, where humanity was aware that planet Earth was much bigger than the local environment. And so there was the great ages of exploration, the ages of discovery and pioneering and settlements. And then with the Industrial Revolution, of course, the ability for human beings to expand and prosper and propagate and dominate more than ever before. And I've also shown you those population chart graphs and the economic chart graphs. I'm not going to go into any of that. But, is it any wonder that our planet is moaning and groaning and crying and weeping? No. It's an absolutely highly predictable outcome. And the only way to stop it is for human beings to alter their behavior. Have you ever tried to tell another human being to stop doing what you do, being who you are? It doesn't go down very well. There are certain populations who believe in the concept of go forth and multiply, and that there is an infinite supply of wonderful stuff for all of us. We can pump oil and gas forever. We can drill on Native American lands. We can drill on federal lands. And it's going to be just fine. Don't worry about it. Jobs for everybody. We can all go back to, having a good time again. Which is, that's the life I was raised in. I am a child of the oil and gas generation. A few generations before that, oil and gas didn't really exist as a commodity, as a phenomenon, as a resource. They had coal, they had timber. If you saw the movie, what's it called? There Will Be Blood. And what's his name? Daniel Day-Lewis. And it was a beautifully crafted story. It was almost like a documentary about the very early days of the gold rush and when Americans discovered black gold. And it changed human society forever. And that was about the same time, of course, that they started making the automobiles and all of that. Okay? So here we are today. Back in that time, when I was a kid, there was 3.5 billion people on Earth. Okay, that shows you how old I am. 3.5 billion people. Today we have 8 billion. To me, that is just mind-blowing. In my parents' childhood, there was only about 2 billion. In my grandparents' childhood, they would have been living in the days where, well, I know for a fact that on my mother's side and my father's side, both my grandparents and great-grandparents, they were all farmers. Some of them were absolute dirt farmers, like Dust Bowl, Kansas farmers, that type. And some of them were more affluent farmers, like dairy and maple and fruits and berries and things like that. But it was still farming. And back in those days, 80% of the American population, the settlers, it was all farming. And the cities were really just these big novel things that were starting to grow and expand. And that all happened with the Industrial Revolution, of course. And then, interstate highways, World War I, World War II, outer space, nuclear bombs, technology, the internet, phones, cell phones, satellites. Now, here we are today, and we've reached, I would call it, peak humanity. Everywhere you go on Earth right now that can be populated by a human, it's now populated by a human. It's exploited by a human. Just look at Google Earth. Everything is allocated. It didn't used to be that way. New Zealand, for example. You know, I have a crush on New Zealand. New Zealand used to be just raw wilderness, timber, just raw timber, virgin forests across the whole island. 200 years ago, there was hardly anybody there except a few Maori. That was it. Same thing with Madagascar, same thing with Australia, same thing all over the world. There was a time where India itself was very rich and green and luscious and very, very, very modest population. Not anymore. Anyway, I've gone on a rant there. I'm going to go back. Hold on, let me see here. I got to mess with the chat a little bit. Hold on. Oh, I have to go to check my stuff. Yes, once again, just yesterday. Oh no, more. Okay, I'm going to mention a couple things here. I know it's controversial, but I'm kind of in support of nuclear power supplies, because if it's done properly, then it's super, super, super clean. And then the only tricky part is dumping the nuclear waste from the spent rods. And some people feel that hold on, sorry, I got to finish my rant. So the problem, of course, with nuclear power, it's fabulous power because you can create so much power, so much electricity from such a small amount of stuff. You know, the processed uranium and all of that. Uranium mining is messy, of course. Oil and gas is messy. Wind and solar, also very messy. Burning wood, that's the most direct, very high calorie source of energy, but you know, we already burnt up a lot of world timber. But anyway, with nuclear, the beautiful thing is that if it's done properly, it's extremely powerful, extremely effective, and extremely clean. The dirty side of nuclear is getting rid of the spent rods. Where do you put them? So there's all sorts of, I mean, they already put them in, you know, very, very deep underground. They put them in disused oil and gas holes, drill sites, and things like that. They put them in deliberately made underground storage centers. So, yeah. In the meantime, we've still got oil and gas, and I believe it's going to come back to us in a few years. We're going to start reconnecting and let's say, bringing back oil and gas. It's inevitable because people are going to demand it. Otherwise, there's going to be war. We're already at war. It's a resource war. It's all a manufactured war. We all know that. I don't know what to say about it right now. Well, I know. I have a lot to say about it, but I'm not going to. Victor Gallagher, can you tell us how the full moon will affect the other signs? Well, I'll do a little bit if you want. I got to get on with Tina's reading in a minute. So I'll do a very, very quickie overview here. Thanks, Victor, for asking. Let me see what I can do. I wasn't prepared to do this, so I don't have any notes or anything. All right, so let's create an axis here. So what did you want? The full moon. Okay, the full moon. So we're talking about tomorrow. Wait a minute. Well, I guess, you know, Monday or Tuesday, depending on where you live on Earth. But basically, the full moon, I see it as tomorrow because the moon is here right now, and it's going to cross through to Virgo, and then the full moon's going to be at about 18 degrees 16, 17, yeah, about 17 degrees. Maximum opposition. It's going to be right here on this axis here. This will be the axis of the full moon. So the sun will be over here in Pisces and the moon will be over here in Virgo. Now, I already talked about this Pisces-Virgo opposition. The main theme, I believe, for the whole of planet Earth, depending on whether you're aware of these things or whether you care about these things, will be the exposure, now the full light and exposure from the sun and from the moon by opposition, about all the sewage, human sewage. I'm talking about political, financial, healthcare, I would say sewage that's especially propagated in terms of lies, deception, betrayal, crime, murder, blackmail, extortion from one tiny elite group of people, for example, cartels in the southern border or the extreme elite cartels at the top of the banking industry. The things that they do to line their pockets and to impose their will on other human beings is kind of disgusting. But they do it because it's very rewarding for them and they get fat and rich and happy. And their main interest is power and money and control. That's over here expressed by Pluto and Capricorn, 29 degrees of desperation. The world elites are absolutely desperate right now to hold on to all the power and money and control that they can, and they have very, very tyrannical plans to try and capture and kill and keep the power and control and money that they have already. The problem is their plan has leaked out, and a lot of human beings like myself, we're fully aware of it. So we're trying to figure out how are we going to get around it. But in the meantime, all the sickness over here, for example, all the political slime that's being exposed in Washington, it's now being held accountable for healing. And the Virgo moon is like, well, what are we going to do about that? How exactly are we going to do that? Well, the first step is accountability. You've got to reveal it to heal it. You've got to name it. You've got to identify it. So that's what's happening right now. So if there's a parallel vibration, if you are a Piscean person and you're feeling like you are under a microscope or under a spotlight right now, and everything that's great is exposed and everything that sucks is exposed, well, that's great and not so great, but the question is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? So that's the Pisces Virgo full moon thing over here. So for the Aries people, that's the storyline as well. Basically the same thing for the whole of planet Earth, because that axis here is falling in the 12th and the 6th house of health and healing, also sickness and disease. And what are we going to do about it? So for Aries people, they might be having an overview of everything that's not right with their life and their world right now. And then what are they going to do about it? I believe for Aries folks, it's going to be, the full moon's going to be dominated by this beautiful conjunction between Jupiter and Venus, making things very sweet for the Aries folks. So let's move on. Here's the Taurus axis for the Taurus folks. Let's look over here. I don't know if this is working. Can you see this thing that I'm trying to do here with this ruler? There's a shadow on that side, but I can't get rid of it. So I'll try to do this. So there's a shadow. Anyway, so for the Taurus folks, let's put it over here. Now remember, I'm just putting it on the horizon. So there's the Taurus-Scorpio axis over here. And so for the Taurus folks, this Pisces-Virgo full moon is happening over here on the 5th house, 11th house axis. So there might be issues for Taurus folks, like, how am I doing in my local community, in my world of, let's say, where do I belong in my community? And is my presence in my community healthy for me? What's healthy for me? What's not healthy for me? And what am I going to do about it? Over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your 5th house there, okay? The Taurus folks. Virgo. Okay? So the cleanup campaign. And so my feeling is like getting down to earth, down to very practical aspects of making it a priority, a number one business about making your world pretty. Making for the Taurus folks, making your world pretty by doing the chores and the tasks that have to be done. And accepting the facts and the reality that there's a lot of sickness out there in the world community. But that's not you. It's not your fault. So the important thing for you now is to mind your own business and focus on creative self-expression in terms of tasks and activities. Like, are you going to do some gardening, improve your gardening or something like that? Make it pretty. Let's move on. Gemini. So there's the Gemini-Sagittarius axis. Can you see that? There we go. Gemini-Sagittarius. Okay, here's Gemini. And there's the Sagittarius axis. So, right now Mars is in Gemini. So that's creating a lot of, let's say, activity, almost belligerence, perhaps some excitement and pressure to go out and live life and get and do as much as you can as, let's say, fearlessly as possible. And so what's that going to look like for, that's your, okay, there's the, okay, see if I can do this. There is Gemini-Sagittarius axis. There is the full moon axis here where the blue pen is. Okay, so for the Gemini folks, it might be like, wow, what are we going to do to clean up our home and our homeland? The Pisces vibe up here is in your solar, what I call solar 10th house of destiny, career, ambitions, obligations, duties, responsibilities, achievements. So what have you achieved recently in culminating to the best of who you are and how you are? And what does that look like on the grand scale? Like if you're a Gemini, look in the mirror, like, how am I doing right now? How am I being perceived in the greater world right now? And whatever is not healthy and not good, what are you going to do about it? And what you're going to do about it is probably having to take care of, let's say, the foundations in your life right now at the home level, because this would be where the Virgo moon is for you, the 4th house, home, family, security. For example, there's a fellow called Donald. He's at what's called the CPAC convention right now. He had a spectacular experience, and it was classic Donald behavior, especially fueled up by the Mars and Gemini energy, because he is a very powerful Gemini with Sun in Gemini, Uranus in Gemini, North Node in Gemini. Okay? And so that's a very, very powerful, very almost aggressive vibe that he was putting out there about how to clean up America and get America taking care of home and family again, do things properly. And that would have been his shining moment on the stage in front of everybody, being like a very powerful leader, 10th house, leader in management, taking responsibility, taking ownership for what needs to be taken care of at the roots here in the 4th house. So same aspect, read it as the same storyline for the Gemini folks. Okay? Now let's go over here. For the Cancer folks, the the full moon axis is going to be up here in the 9th house, opposing the 3rd house. So a lot of this, like, is to do with, I would say, bringing vast amounts of very recent learned knowledge, wisdom, information, experiences of accepting and seeing the world on the grand stage for what it really is. Nothing more and nothing less, and then accepting it in all its sick, dark shadow energy, and at the same time in its absolute beauty. And then basically saying, okay, now that I have that, multi-dimensional experience up here, how am I going to bring that down to earth in terms of day-to-day practicalities? The Virgo practicalities. So over here in the 3rd house of communications, clarifying so the Cancerian folks, it's about clarifying your communications now that you have vast window, a vast pool of knowledge and awareness that you've built up for the last 2 weeks. What are you going to do about it? So you don't end up as a classic Pisces victim. You do something about it. You activate the Virgo, let's do something. What are we going to do here? What's the cleanup campaign? What are your priorities? Virgo's going to be very scientific and meticulous about that, okay? It might be cleaning the house. It might be reprioritizing your priorities about what's important and how you communicate that very, very clearly. Changing priorities now that you have so much more knowledge and awareness. Okay, next over here we've got the Leo folks. So let's put that on the Aquarius axis there. Does that make sense? I hope this is working okay. I hope some of you are getting things out of this. Okay? So when we look at Leo, okay, the moon is right there, 29 degrees. It's going to be gone, okay? The moon is going to be here tomorrow, and the sun is going to still be up here with Mercury and Neptune, okay? So my feeling is that for the Leo folks, there's probably going to be a strong emphasis on personal finances. Your talents and gifts and your resources, about money. Money, 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 money. Looking very closely at your personal finances. How are you going to clean up, tidy, organize your personal finances, your gifts, your talents, your resources, your money, your savings, your income from whatever source? How are you going to tidy that up, clean that up to make it as good and healthy as possible? Because over here in the Leo world, Pisces is cruising through the 8th house of other people's money. And so you might be dealing with things that are very, let's say, very hard to manage in terms of the financial aspects of your life that are outside of your direct control. For example, your retirement fund, your savings plans, your life insurance, your credit cards, your car loans, your mortgages, your business loans, debts that you owe to people, debts that people owe to you, all that kind of stuff. It might be very chaotic and mixed up and messy over there, and it's time to create order so that you are not a victim of, let's say, fraud, decay, treachery, lies, deception in the financial world that's outside of your control. Okay? Next, let's go over to the Virgo folks. So with the Virgo folks, it's actually happening on your axis of relationship. Okay? Right here. Okay, so this is the tonight. This red line here is tonight. But tomorrow the red line is going to be here. Okay, right here. The moon in Virgo is going to be here. Okay, I should have put this in earlier. And that's for everybody. So for you, dear Virgos, you might be sensing that there are some challenging aspects that have been going on for quite a very long time in the world of personal, deeply important one-on-one relationships. And there's no immediate solution. The sun is there lighting up any problems that you have there right now. And Mercury just entered Pisces, so you might have a better, clearer understanding of being able to put into words what is wrong, what is not working in your relationship or your relationships, okay? So you need to know that. The sun is helping you to light it up. So in the 7th house for the Virgo people over here, this is your house of open enemies. This is also the house of marriage. This is the house of most significant one-on-one personal relationships where there is nowhere to hide. That's the classic marriage scenario. It's you and the other person, and there's nowhere else to go. Everything exists between you and the other person. That's for you, Virgo. So that's your marriage axis here. That's your relationship axis. So you might notice, dear Virgos, a lot of detail that's been missing for a while that is becoming under clarity or being clarified for your greater understanding, which will allow you to sweep up, clean up, clarify yourself in how you relate to the significant others. Because at this point, you could effectively be a victim if you're not careful. So you might want to take care of that, okay? You've only got, a few hours or a day or two of this energy, so pay very, very close attention, okay, dear Virgos? Let's move on here to the Libra folks. So for the Libras, you might be dealing with health issues. The sun is over here in your 6th house. Okay, there's Neptune, there's Mercury. And so that's putting a very bright, shining light on your house of chores, tasks, work, things where you just have to take care of business in life. Sometimes this refers to things like chores or day jobs or tasks or performing services for which there's typically no reward or no thanks. You just have to do it. It's kind of like washing the dishes or doing the laundry. Some people do that for a living, but a lot of people don't. And if you do it for a living, great. But if you don't, a lot of people find these kinds of chores very tedious, but they have to be done anyway. And so with the Virgo moon over here, you might get the Libra folks, you might get a bit rattled and shaken up as you get emotionally very sensitive to your 12th house energy over here. This is your 12th house of sickness, disease, losses, tragedy, betrayal, lies, deception, addiction, alcoholism, prescription medication addiction, misuse of all of that, and let's say fraud, betrayal. You might have betrayed yourself. This is the house of self-undoing. You might discover that you have been your own worst enemy for the last year. And now you need to do something about it. So what are you going to do about it? The sun is lighting it all up. It's lighting up everything that you're feeling is sick and diseased. And then what are you going to do about it? Okay? Next, let's go over here. Scorpios. So for Scorpio folks, this is your axis here. And you'll notice that, God, it's not very well. Let's see if I can do that right. Yeah, okay, that's as good as I can get it on this chart here. For the Scorpio folks, is that right? Yeah. Sorry, that's the nodal mark here, south nodal mark. So I'm trying to make this as accurate as I can. You'll notice that the nodal axis is very, very close to your natal axis right here, right now. So for Scorpios, number one, I'm not going to focus on the North Node too much right now because we're doing the Pisces Virgo thing. For the Scorpio folks, you might be finding that you've had, let's say, I would say a major upgrade in what it is to love and to be loved here. in terms of a joyful experience and the tragic side of experience as well, of loving and being loved. Okay? For a lot of people, Scorpios or not, love can be the most incredible experience, phenomenon, choice, but it can also be the most tragic and painful. And they often happen simultaneously. It's very possible that you could love someone who is unattainable. It could be very possible that you are loved, but you're not attainable. It could be that there has been some kind of tragedy and loss in your ability for a creative self-expression, like if you have strong creative self-expression in the world of, like, art, music, writing, blogging, YouTubing, things like that, you might realize that there's something very sad and tragic that's been happening in your life, and you just have to live with it and accept it. So what are you going to do now? How are you going to come to terms with that? In the 11th house here, the moon is going to be in your 11th house of community. So how are you going to reconfigure yourself, dear Scorpios, to fit in with society and community in the way that is most optimal for society, such that it's most optimal for you, so that whatever failures and losses and tragedies that you've had to endure over here, it's not in vain. In other words, you've loved and you've been loved. You've been loving and you are loved. You are loving and you are loved, even with the pain, even with the suffering, even with the losses. And there is purpose and meaning, okay? And again, with the Virgo energy here, it's about refining it, like basically recalibrating your identity, your place in society. What are you going to provide to society now going forward, with perhaps the tragic death, loss of what's not working right now in your contributions to the world and society, creative contributions. Okay, over here, so we got the Sagittarius Gemini axis, and of course that's a hard square. Okay, like so. This is the Gemini Sagittarius axis, Sagittarius Gemini axis, and for you folks, the moon is going to be over here, basically 4th house and 10th house. So for the Sagittarian folks, the foundations of your life, by definition, over here in the 4th house, it's kind of ruled by Pisces vibes. So there might be a constant theme of disappointment, tragedy, loss, dislocation when it comes to the foundations of your life, or home, or a sense of home and family. But that's not the end of the world. It's just the characteristics that happens when you have the Pisces Neptune vibe around the 4th house. You might constantly be in a state of having to move and remove, or having problems with the house. But again, what are you going to do about it? Because you've got to take responsibility. You've got to take ownership. And you might also be thinking about like career path. Like, are you considering, like, if you've been relegated to working from home recently because of all the lockdowns from healthcare? And if that's changing, what's that going to look like? Or if you've been out and about in the workforce, living a life, but things have changed in such a way that you're going to be sequestered, or, finding yourself having to stay much closer to home or in the home, what's that going to look like? Are you going to run a business from home? A home-based business? What's that going to look like? With the Virgo energy, it would be a service of some kind. Are you thinking of ways to improve your ability to serve, basically being who you are, doing what you do, in terms of your career? By definition, Virgo is the service energy of service in career. So what is it that you're providing already in terms of service to humanity? And how do you improve that? Over here, Capricorns, gosh, we still have a long way to go. Man, you asked me a question that I didn't know it was going to take this long. Hey, Tina, I hope you're still there. Whew, sorry. I'm doing my best to give these little mini thumbnail sketches about the pending full moon for everybody. So for the Capricorn folks, it's in your third house. The sun is over here in your third house of communications, day-to-day commerce, and the community, your actual, let's say, three-dimensional local community. And it's being opposed by the moon up here in the ninth house of the bigger, wider, greater world. So my feeling here is that for the Capricorn folks, you might realize that you might have been too focused on anything and everything that's basically not working very well in your daily activities in life, the commerce of life, because so much about life is about commerce. The way that you interact with others, the way that others interact with you, a lot of it is to do with commerce. How you exchange energy with others, how others exchange energy with you, and a lot of that is directly or indirectly in the form of commerce, like a commercial exchange. Like, hey, I'll do this for you, you do this for me, or I'll do that for you, you pay me, or whatever. But it's also about the communication. So my feeling is with the Virgo up here, it's for the Capricorns, it's an indication that it's time to clarify, clean up any misunderstandings that you have about preconceived ideas about how the world works, knowledge and wisdom, like I'm always right, I know I'm always right, and then realizing actually sometimes I'm wrong. So what are you going to do about it? How are you going to clean up and recalibrate your, I'm talking about Capricorns right now, your world, your greatest worldview? How are you going to re-educate, redefine your belief systems to be more in line with universal truth, universal laws, as opposed to your own personal interpretations, which would be your own subjective truth, your own interpretations of universal laws, which are designed to serve you. And you're going to have to mature and grow, because that's the only way that you can improve things over here in the mundane aspects of day-to-day life. No way out of it. Aquarius folks. Okay, so the Pisces vibe and the Virgo vibe is going to be here on the money axis. Okay, so here's an example. Let me tell this like as about China, as though it's a person. Right now, like China has a very powerful Aquarius like vibe, first house type of energy. And they have the Pisces second house. And you might have noticed that China right now is absolutely obsessed with global finance and power and money and everything like that. But also with Neptune here, of course, they're suffering tragic degradation and losses and suffering in terms of their economy. However, the more things degrade in China, the more belligerent and more bright they shine in terms of showing off and trying to communicate to the world how incredibly awesome and powerful they are in terms of business and the war machine and society and taking over the world. But you have to be very careful, because when I see this, there's a lot of potential for self-deception here when it comes to your net worth, your values, your value system, your belief systems here, your money, your wealth, your ability to earn money and all of that. And you might discover that you've got leakage, losses or whatever, and once you've realized, oh my God, things aren't perfect. What am I going to do about it? Well, the moon is over here in Virgo in your 8th house, so the chances are whatever is wrong over here for the Aquarians with your finances, the solutions will be found in how you interact, communicate, transact, recalibrate with the world of other people's money. Going back again to credit cards, car loans, mortgages, payments, monthly payments on monthly programs, long-term investment programs, retirement programs, saving programs, stashing away for retirement in the future, buying gold, buying silver, investing and trading in the stock markets. What's that going to look like? It needs very, very close examination, and it really needs to be cleaned up and tidied up, okay? Now over here with the Pisces vibes, of course, this will be the last one. So for the Pisces folks, you might be realizing that you've got, in some ways, you've got immense power right now because the sun is right there. It's like it's like a solar return for the Pisces. Like a whole year has gone by for the Pisces folks, and now you're starting all over again. Neptune is there, of course. It's been there for many years, and it's going to be there for years. So you might have a long history of very, very painful experiences that has just become so common that it's your status quo. And you've been living with having to live with unending pain and suffering and losses for things that don't really make sense and that are not really your fault. And it may be that the losses are at the point where you just kind of like, you just well, that's my life. You know, I just accept it and then I work around it. Okay, that's great. But also the beauty about the Pisces energy is that you do get to see you do get to see the beauty and the wonders and what I would say infinite love looks like. Not everybody gets to have that chance. And it's an energy of sacrifice, of martyrdom at sometimes. It's also an energy of very sacrificial love. Okay? It's also, of course, the energy of self-destruction, tragedy and loss. And that could be in the world of relationships. You might be dealing with certain very specific relationships right now, whether that's in business or one-on-one or a partner or a spouse or very significant one-on-one, someone who is exactly opposite to you right now. It might be an opponent. It might be an enemy. This is the house of open enemies right now. It might be in a business environment where you're having to go through really profound changes and you're going to have a face-off over here between you and another. And what are you going to do about it? So you have to pay very close attention because the Virgo moon here might create a sense of like, what am I going to do? How am I going to deal with this? Because this is the house of open enemies right here, the 7th house. Now it's great if everything's going great for you, then all you have to do is focus on how are we going to clean up anything and everything that's not working in our relationship or my relationship. If there are challenges and disputes or whatever, then it might make you feel quite fearful and like wanting to retreat, but you still got to figure out what to do and how to do it. Virgo is not known for being like a fierce warrior fighter, but the Virgo energy is very, very good at dealing with the facts, the reality of what to do and how to do it to get done what has to get done. Okay? So there you go, folks. Thanks for asking that question. Hey, Gregory. Whoa, what's going on? You can't give request another judge. Oh my gosh, Gregory. They've ganged up on you. I help we the people against the power bunch. Oh my God, this is epic. They would love to see me die. And they are killing me in court. I'm on the way out of this courthouse. Oh gosh. Maybe it's for the best. Gregory, good thing. Sounds like not fast enough. Oh my God. Yeah, it might be really brutal. All right. Gosh, we've been here for quite a while. We got to do Tina's reading, okay? Let's put all this aside. It's gonna, Tina, I hope you're still there. I hope you're okay. You've been through so much recently, and gosh, I don't know how you had such strength and courage to do it all. But you're still here, and you booked a mini reading. So let's do that. I'm gonna put this away, tuck it aside, and we're gonna do a little mini reading for you. Okay? Oh, Gregory, this is fierce. Oh my God. Oh, let's have a look. I just want to see. All right, Tina, you're up. I hope you're still there. You're probably cooking dinner or something, or taking care of the doggies. Okay. Anyway, your reading's here. I'm going to go for it. We'll see what comes up, all right? Okay, doke. Cards are well shuffled already in advance. No worries. But we're going to go again live so that you are a witness. Let's bless this deck. Bless every single card. Thank you again, Tina, for your kindness, your generosity. It's wonderful. You've been helping so much. Let's see. Bless the channel. Bless this little channel. Bless its microphones, its software. Bless the algorithm. Bless the technology, the computers, the cameras, the visitors, the guests. Bless the enemies. All of them. Thanks, Victor. Thanks, Victor. See you again, okay? I hope that helped you. Okay. Temporary cabin till my house closes 3rd of April. That's what it looks like to me. Okie dokie. Oh man. Okay, let's put that over here. Okay. Okay, what kind of messages do we have from the invisible friends? Tina's invisible friends, my invisible friends, all of us here. We're kind of sharing and spreading the love, okay? What have we got here for Tina? Tina is in obviously very kind of extreme state of transition right now. Huge shifts, huge changes in life. Let's have a look here. House closing on March 31st. Wow. God, it's really happening. My God. All right, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Okay, Tina, brace yourself. You know what to do. Perhaps either hang out, have a cup of tea, sit on your hands, cuddle up with the doggies, whatever it takes. Here we go. 9 of Swords. My feeling... I'm sorry, Tina. I have to laugh. So, yeah. Let's just say that so long as you're aware of this, don't say, oh no, Gregory, this needs to be brought into the light. I mean, frankly, I don't know why we haven't seen this a lot more for everybody, but especially for Tina. I mean, Tina has been through some super, ultra, hyper stressful events recently, and I think it has kind of taken a toll, but obviously you're dealing with it, and you will deal with it, because this is, it's kind of a culmination point. Obviously, closing on the old house, closing on the new house, it's a huge deal. Okay? All right, let's have a look. Oh, something, the job was not, what was that? Job was not for me. Oh, so Tina, before before I go any further, what John was not? Before I go any further with the reading, Tina, I'd love to. It gave you COVID? Okay, I'm not quite following your notes here, Tina. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't even bother to try and follow the notes. Okay, sorry, I'm stalling a little bit here, Tina, because I'm picking up with all this, with this Nine of Swords here. My feeling is that, remember, this is an external influence. This doesn't mean necessarily you, okay, Tina? So, let's just say this represents the external events with job, money, closing on the old house, closing on the new house, and doing this huge transformation, okay? Let it all come out in the chat if you want to, but I want to get on with the reading itself, okay? So, that's not you, okay, Tina? That's not you. You might feel that it's you, but it's not. It's these are external energies. These are external forces that are triggering you. You're still wonderful and gorgeous, a complete human being right here. Okay? If you want to personalize this card, I'm not taking it personally, but if you want to, you can. So this would be, I have to tell you, Tina, I go through this every day in my own little way. And then we have to deal with it. But the way I'm looking at it for you right now, it's very important to recognize that this stuff is external for you. Okay? Now, there's that expression, you are what you think, having become what you thought. So when you're dealing with very, very big life events, especially, okay, I'm just going to rant a bit. Sorry, Tina, here I have to. This is the only way I can clear it up. Buying and selling a house is one of the biggest events for most Americans. Not every American gets the chance. A lot of Americans will never, ever have the chance to buy a home through a mortgage, let alone own the title outright. As far as I know, in the United States, there's about 64 million people who own their homes outright. So that's about one-sixth of the population. There are a lot more people than that who have mortgages on the houses and they're hoping to get the title one day. But for the time being, right now, as far as I know, it's about 64 million people. And right now, in the United States, the housing market is highly unstable. It's been going up, it's been going down. It's highly localized. What do they call it? Location, location, location. There are some places where things are going quite well for some people, but there's places where things are really tanking for some people. But either way, you have to figure it out because most people have to have shelter of some kind. You know, I've been homeless. I know what it's like to live on a street. I know what it's like to live in a tent for many months on end through very bitter ice and cold conditions as well as summer. So it might sound romantic, but really it's not a replacement for having a solid roof over your head. And everybody here knows that you've been dealing with all the stress of buying and selling homes, moving, changing job, all of that kind of stuff. But that's, I would say, part of your life experience. I got a little quote today from a dear loved one, and I'll just condense it. Basically, you are what you think, having become what you thought. So you have to take ownership of your thoughts, because thoughts are things. And if you continue to focus your thoughts on one thing, then eventually it kind of becomes a perceived reality. And that's the power of incantations, the power of mantras, the power of the spoken word, and the power of the written word, especially if it's a repeated thing like a pop song or a chorus line in a pop song, or some of the things that we do here like I am healing, I am healed, or be loving, be loved, be loving, be loved. We're describing in a very ultra simplistic term a very, very powerful energy force. Be loving, be loved, okay? So it's a question of understanding those energies, and that stuff's going to happen anyway. And simply because housing, shelter, survival in the United States is so geared around either renting a shelter or a room or getting a mortgage on a house or something to get shelter so that you can have the fourth house stability in life. So you can come and go from your place where you sleep and go out into the world and then come back again and feel safe. Okay? So that's what Tina's dealing with right now. And of course, it's hyper stressful because she's in between two worlds. The old world, the old house, and the new world, the new house. And until things are fully locked down and settled and everything's closed, that Nine of Swords energy is going to persist. And once you know that in advance, you don't have to be a complete victim. You just have to know that, well, I'm just living through a classically one of the most stressful episodes any adult American can endure, any adult who is in a position to take on like a mortgage. Okay, because that's also a very big thing. Okay, anyway. Okay, it's like here's another stressful aspect. It just multiplied. The new job is gone. Okay. Tina lived in a tent in the 80s. Whoa, go Tina! Man, you are tough. You are a seriously tough woman. That's mind-boggling. Thank you for confiding that. Okay, so let's not take this too personally, okay, Tina? You have every right to feel stressed and anxious considering what's happening out there and the world that is unfolding, that you have created, and that's like the thoughts are things, okay? You've already done this before. A few years ago, you went through kind of a similar situation, massive upheaval in the fourth house energy. Let's go back over here. Okay, so let's have a look. What's the situation itself? Because it's like you could say you've got good news because you're closing on the old house and you're closing on the new house and you're having a cabin while you live through the transition. Okay, so maybe that's not ideal, but things are in motion. And then there's the scary thing about not that new job being gone. So let's have a look. Let's get to it. Okay. Haha. Again, I don't know why I'm laughing, Tina, here, but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Have you heard that expression? Okay. If you want to personalize this, Tina, you can. You're very welcome to personalize it. That's you at the center. You're living in almost like a very, very challenging battle type situation, but it is of your own making, and you will prevail. Somehow or other, you will grow from this situation. You will become stronger, okay? I don't believe this card would exist or be here without that possibility, without that inevitability of you becoming stronger through the challenges. What is that? There's all sorts of expressions like that. Out of the bad comes the good. Tina has to reinvent how you do things. Okay. Whatever it might be. So, yeah, it's kind of a cliche expression. I know what you're saying. You dislike that saying, if that's what you're hinting at there, Path. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. This is the energy of a person, an individual. Let's make this personal, okay, Tina? This is the energy of a person who has effectively, wittingly, and deliberately created some of the most stressful circumstances you can imagine. It's inevitable that you would deal with. This is the energy of an athlete who deliberately pushes themselves to the limit to face every obstacle in their pathway in order to grow stronger. This is the energy of an athlete in training, the energy of a warrior in training, the energy of a spiritual fighter in training to keep their skills, their ability, their passion, their hope, their ambition, their drive alive, okay? Now, what's the challenges here? Because that's, in a way, this is stress, a form of expression of stress. This is a form of expression of stress. What's the challenges here? Okay, more wands. 7 of Wands. You're going to have to face off with this for a little bit longer. Well, we already know that because of your circumstances. We've got a ticking clock here. You've got the closing on your house up north, the closing on your house back down south in New Mexico and Jemez. And so you've got to continue to fight the good fight, hold your ground, maintain your strength, grow, and improve your posture, and get to the point where you no longer are in the middle, in the thick of a battle. You have actually maneuvered yourself to be on the higher ground. Okay? When you are in the higher ground, it's much harder for the combatants and the enemies and your, let's say, characters in the training camp to take you down. Again, remember, think of this as a sporting activity. Think of this as you growing in your own strength through circumstances. You could call it fated circumstances, or if you want to get hyper 3D, you can talk about it like you and only you created these conditions and circumstances, and you and only you can deal with it. It's not anyone else's fight. And so you have to prevail. You will prevail because you have to. Okay? So this is the energy of, well, holy shit, well, just bring it on. But when I see this here, the 7 of Wands, this is a fear that you may not find it so easy to grow your strength to get into the position on higher ground. You might feel as though, hey, do I even have the ability to overcome all of this? Or am I going to be crushed in the training camp? Oh no, oh no, oh no. Okay? All right, let's have a look here. How are we going to deal with this going forward? This is all about energy management. That's how I look at it. Yes, you've got the circumstances. The selling of the house, the buying of the house, the mortgages, the loss of that new job, so on and so on. Those are all circumstantial. They all affect you, but they're external to you. How are we going to deal with this? Wow. Ho, ho, ho. So you got the Fool card here. There's nothing better than living in the moment. This is literally dealing with it. When you go to bed at night, you can pray. You can ask for the healing power of love to come into your body, mind, heart, and soul from above. Dear angels, guardians, spiritual beings, loved ones from the great beyond, invisible friends that we all share here, please bring to me all the good stuff that is mine. Take away from me all the bad, poopy stuff that is not mine, so I can live my best life and be my most awesome self. Moment by moment by moment. I surrender to the now. I live in the now. I trust the now. I believe in the now. I know that I have infinite courage, bravery to live in the now. I am fearless. I am utterly fearless. Okay? It is truly a new journey. Now, that's your reading, Tina. I just want to see a few comments here. I noticed when it says here, you cannot effectively work ER anymore. That should be like a hard line for you. That's it. Okay? And you were talking about you got to reinvent how you do things. Clinic, urgent care, home health care, a lot of things. How are you going to recalibrate things? Well, you're going to learn as you go. That's the only way you can do this. You're going to learn as you go. You're going to be very much living in the moment. I think it would be very beneficial. I'm going to do... Okay, who is actually here tonight right now? You know what I think? I don't know if you think this, Tina, if this might help. If you want, I don't know, how does everybody, let's do a little mini poll. Tina, this is up to you. If you're interested, I would be very happy to host a group Zoom reading for us here, our little tiny community that we've had for so many years, and how we've all found amazing ways to look after each other and help each other through our own trying times, even by remote, very, very long distances. We still have this connection. We are loving, and we are loved. It is deliberate, it's a choice. So how about this? Sometime in the near future, this week I would say, probably in an evening, at a suitable time, 5 p.m. is good for me. I know, Tina, you're probably 6 p.m. Path will probably be on 8 p.m. But how about we do a little group Zoom? What do you think? Something to think about. I can easily set it up, email everybody, and I'll send it out to everybody, and we'll be there like a support group. What do you think, Tina? Or is that just going to be too much, focusing on the problem, It's just a thought. I thought I'd put it out there. Hey! Roxanne, hi. Greetings. Group Zoom, yeah, up for it. Tina's up for it. Okay, we're going to do it, folks, okay? If anyone's, right now I'm okay for Wednesday night. I would be very happy to do a Wednesday night Zoom. 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. New Mexico. That's Gregory and Tina. Mountain time, I think Roxanne is Central Time. And Nadine is Eastern Time. Hey, Karen, over there in beautiful, beautiful New Zealand. Hello, Karen. How are you doing? All right, so how does that sound? Wednesday night, Wednesday evening, Wednesday night. Group Zoom. Wednesday night's good. Okay, we'll do it. Okay, it's going to be like this. 5 p.m. Pacific time. That's 8 o'clock for Path, 8 o'clock for Necessary, 7 o'clock for Roxanne, 6 o'clock for Tina and Gregory, 5 o'clock for me. Okay? All right, folks? Done. So, Karen, how things are in there? Karen, I know New Zealand got slammed. You're dealing with a lot of damage from after the storms, I know. I have friends up north who are still dealing with the cyclone. It's been very tragic, okay? But of course, there's some beautiful things coming out of this as well. I've been hearing some amazing, beautiful stories coming out of New Zealand. So there is hope. Okay, we're booked, folks. Private Zoom thing. We can talk about anything we want. No censorship. No algorithms to worry about. And the idea is, how can we help Tina get through this incredibly stressful, challenging episode? Because you're going to be fine. It just might be this is one of the times where you need a little bit of TLC, Tina, from a few people who, you know, we know you, we care, so let's do it, okay? You have room for a campfire at your new house. A room for, wow, okay, cool. It's gonna be amazing. By the way, okay? Oh gosh. Well, listen, let's wrap it up. We've been here for a couple of hours. I don't have any more bookings. I don't have any more donations. So let's leave it. Don't make it about me. Okay, all right, Tina. It's just going to be a hangout. So we'll treat it like a good old-fashioned Terra Lumination campfire, like from 2017 or 2018, in the glory days of Terra Lumination. Okay? It'll be fun. All right? Karen, you're invited. Roxanne, you're invited. Whoever's here. Ivona, you're there. Okay? Everyone who's here, you're invited. I'll send out, I've got an email list of about 30 names, something like that. I've probably got, there's probably hundreds and more that I could write to, but I don't really know how to get their emails. Wow. So I hope that reading helped you a little bit, Tina, so you don't think it's like the end of the world or anything. Again, I didn't mean any offense or anything, but I felt a really tremendous, powerful chuckle when I saw a couple of those cards, and it brought great relief to me in a very stressful situation. All right. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to get out of here very, very fast. Does anybody else have any last-minute little tidbits or issues that you want to deal with? Any last-minute questions that we want to put on the chat? Remember, there's about a 45-second, almost like a minute delay on the chat, so please allow for that. I'm still here, but I'm offering a few more minutes in case anybody has some serious stuff they want to vent or questions that need to be asked right now. Let's have a look. Okay, so I'm going to go over here. Thank you, Tina. Thank you for your kindness. Have a super night, and we'll see everybody on Wednesday, okay? You're okay, Pat? All right, let's just wrap it out, folks. I'm just going to I'm going to clean up here, sort out the studio and everything, and okay. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll do the bulk email, and I'll send the Zoom link for everybody, and you can just go click, and you're here. It'll be just like this, but private and Zoom. Alrighty? Good night, everybody. Be loving, be loving, be loving, be loved. Number one, love thyself, okay? I know I say it and it makes it sound flippant, but it's really simple, pure good stuff. I try to work at it every day. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, little Papa. Hey, Papa. Don't worry, I'm going to take care of you right now. Let's have a look over here. Hi, Papa. Hey, Papa. I'm going to get you some dinner, okay? And fresh water.